What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? I'm terrible. Thanks for asking. This week, we have what might be one of the most garbage kits I have ever put together. Well, that's a little harsh. It's not exactly that it's garbage, it's more that it's just basic and boring. Most of these kits I put together have a little functionality, be it being a clock, a poor man's Game Boy, or even just having a lot of components to practice with. This thing, well, it's just randomly flashing lights, and it plays a horrible sounding version of Für Elise. You'll know it when you hear it. The instructions are as usual, terrible. No diagram, no explanation, nothing. It's like, here's the parts. How about you, Snake? So you're gonna see me give the what the hell hand gesture a lot. If you can count how many times, put it in the comments for a no prize. If I have anything good to say about it, at least it went together quickly. I'd say 25 minutes. Well, except for my stupidity. More on that later. There's really not much to say. This came in a kit that has since been discontinued, and after finding it in my purchase history, I can see why. This kit is basically my last 3 videos. Well, not the radio. That one was actually quality. But if you watch the Bell and the Hourglass videos, you'll get why this has been discontinued. Bad PCB, anybody? Anyway, shit is shit. Thanks for the content, E-Deb. As usual, let's make sure everything's here, the tools we'll need, and with that, let's get to making shit. I'm going to start with the resistors for the LEDs, because why not? These are 200 ohm resistors, so at the 3.5 to 5 volts this requires, it ensures that only 15 milliamps, give or take, are available to the LED it's in series with, and then it dissipates the remaining voltage and power as heat. Otherwise, poof, bye-bye LED, see you in hell. If you didn't know, that's how an old school incandescent light bulb worked. It was a giant resistor. It just gave off so much heat that it glowed and produced light. The only problem, and why they were phased out, was efficiency. I think it was like 90% was heat and 10% was light, so super inefficient. An LED is the exact opposite. It's 10% heat and 90% light. So nice. You know, back in the day, the light bulb companies used to have an agreement on how long their light bulbs were supposed to last. Try searching the Phoebus cartel to see how giant corporations have been f***ing us since the 1920s. In short, most of the bulb manufacturers had an agreement to not make a bulb that would last longer than 1,000 hours, even though they could have made them last 3 times as long. Looks like planned obsolescence has been around forever. Corporations, man. Anyway, I use a magnet now to pick off the cut-off leads. Works great. Highly recommend. Next up are the 220,000, 10,000, 1,000, and 1.5 million ohm resistors. Now, while I would love nothing more than to explain to you, dear viewer, what these are actually doing, alas, I cannot. As I've explained many, many times before, I am no electrical engineer. In fact, I'm just a beginner, probably just like you. Well, unless you're just watching these videos for my silky smooth voice and highly professional editing skills. Or more than likely, you're just watching to make fun of the old man who has no idea what he's doing or talking about. Either way, come on, hook a brother up. I need some of that YouTube money. Due to a series of poor life choices in the year 2020, it looks like retirement is a ways off for your boy. Well, unless you like and subscribe. Only 700 and change until monetization. I can't wait till I start making that $5 a video. Oh, wait, you need 4,000 watch hours too? Damn. Well, I guess OnlyFans is still an option. I do have pretty nice feet, you know. Or, maybe I should buy these kits in bulk, hire me an electrical engineer, make really descriptive instructions, some new packaging, and sell them for 6 times the price. Oh, wait, Mark Rober did that already. Shit, OnlyFans it is then. I kid. Those hack pack kits from Crunch Labs are pretty great. Pricey, but really good. No, really, check them out. Crunch Labs is not a paid advertiser on this channel, but they could be. Next up are the transistors. Look at how easily they go on the board. That's some quality craftsmanship right there. The instructions call them triodes, but it's not 1947, so we know they're transistors. Huh, weird. Deja vu? I can try to explain a little of how these work as we have seen them in other videos. The top 3 from following the traces look like they are what is responsible for flashing the LEDs. Makes sense, there's 3 different color LEDs, 3 different transistors. They are being powered by the CD4060 chip, so the 46ers powers each of the transistors from one of its output pins. You know, honestly, I can't for the life of me figure out why these are needed. Couldn't they just use the chip for the LED timing? Maybe it's being used as relays for load purposes? If anyone out there can answer, please let me know in the comments. The transistors are S9012s, and the chip is a CD4060BE. As for the other two, listen, I'm just going to start calling them resistors from now on. These two are just switching from on and off state to energize the active buzzer. In this case, it's breaking negative. How this thing gets a buzzer to kind of sound like a song is actually amazing. Now we have the two capacitors, one 1 UF and one 100 UF. The 100 UF cap is acting as a filter stabilizer for the entire circuit, while the 1 UF cap is working with the 1.5 million ohm resistor to set the clock on the chip. Then weird how this worked out, the adjustable 50K resistor, which is going in now, will allow us to control how fast the LEDs flash on and off. Huh, I'm actually starting to understand this stuff. Science, bitch! Now for the buzzer. This is the active type, meaning it's either on or off, and only one sound tone too. This component is, let's say it together now, polarity sensitive, and for once, the board is marked, as is the buzzer. Just match the minus to the minus and the plus to plus. Nice work for once, EDAB. Actually, this board is not laid out too bad, but more on that but later. So let's throw in the LEDs next. I know, I'm a little behind here, but come on, talking is hard, man. But there are a lot of LEDs, so meh. Continuing with their win streak, the board is marked negative and positive. Remember, the long lead is the positive, and the short, well, I guess you could figure out what that is. And, as I'm watching this back, I realized I also installed 3 diodes back there somewhere. Diodes are polarity sensitive, so check your board. There should be a stripe on the board and a stripe on the diode. These are not labeled in the instructions, but after doing a little homework, Chat GTP, it looks like these are being used for reverse voltage protection. Why was that so hard to say? So that when the transistor turns off, the LEDs can't backflow and damage the transistor. Makes sense to me, and come on, Chat GTP is never wrong, right? If I'm wrong, someone call me out on it. I would love some feedback. And lastly, is the chip socket and the power pin header. I've really come around on these chip socket things, and lucky for me I did. Just wait about 30 seconds. You'll see. As for the pin headers, well, they're pin headers. One for the positive and one for the negative. Put it to a power supply, and voila! Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. As always, let's clean up the no clean flux. I use 99% alcohol, but anything over 91 should be fine. I also find that these soldering flux brushes work best, even though they're meant for plumber's soldering flux. They seem to absorb the flux better than the others. These IC chips are never bent right out of the box. I normally just put them on the bench and give them a little bend. Works every time. Now comes my usual stupidity. Usually I'm pretty diligent in checking orientation on, well, everything. Caps, chips, diodes, sexuality. All kidding aside, this is why you should always check everything twice. So thinking everything is just peachy, I grab my power wires, hook them up to the board, and I go. And while the board is marked 3.5 to 5 volts, what isn't marked is the polarity. So I guess I'm guessing. For a EDAB board, this one was marked unusually well. But of all the things to leave off. So power on? Nothing. Reverse the polarity? Nothing. Play with the pot? Still nothing. So in keeping with honesty is the best policy of the channel, I'll let you in on something. I probably made this kit in like August, maybe even July, and after it went south on me, I worked on figuring out what went wrong with it for like 20 minutes. I tried resoldering the pin headers for the power. It looks like at one point I even flipped the chip, but at this point it looked like the damage was already done. You know, looking back through the video now, I don't even think that it was putting the chip in backwards that was the issue. I think it was the reverse polarity. I really don't know. After seeing the power draw, I was kind of done. I figured I fried the chip, I gave it the alcohol test, and confirmed. So I ordered a new chip, threw this thing in one of the drawers, and forgot about it.
Many months later.
Guess who's back? Back again. Makeshit guy's back. Tell a friend. No, really, tell a friend. I need the subs. Come on, you didn't think I was gonna give up that easy, did you? Ha! You don't know me very well. Huh, I wonder if anyone will even get that reference. Probably. According to the latest check on my analytics, most of my viewers are aged 35 to 65 plus. Shout out Gen X, we rule. So $10 and 19 chips I'll never use later? Man, these things are so cheap I even sprung for a chip puller. $6. Nice. Look how easy that chip comes out with the right tool. Who knew? So to get this chip installed, let's give it a little bendy bend. And then it goes. Of course, making sure to put it in the right way this time. And without further ado, let's power it up. Wow, look at that. It works. Green LEDs aren't working. What the hell now? What else could I have messed up? To be honest, I kinda had a feeling what was wrong. You see, while putting this thing together, I noticed a port place, I don't know, whatever you call the place on the board that's marked for a component. Was marked, but in the instructions, it didn't have a component to put in it. There's just 2 Chinese characters. I didn't think about it at the time, but I do have the site, you know. And this is a EDEB board after all, so something had to be wrong. So when they didn't work, my spidey sense was tingling. I kinda just followed the traces to be sure, and boom, look at that. Open circuit. Let's make sure with the old tweezers is a wire trick. And look at that. I was correct. Winner winner, chicken dinner. Well, I don't have any 0-ohm resistors, so let's just make one. What's a 0-ohm resistor anyway? It's basically just a wire. So I'll just clip off a lead from a rando resistor. These things are always too long anyway. I'll bend that thing into my best approximation of a resistor, and then fight with it for 2 minutes to get it in the holes. Are you guys waiting for something? Get your minds out of the gutter. The last 2 solder joints, hopefully. Hook this bad boy back up to 5 volts. And finally, this mission of stupidity and poor life choices is complete. This wonderful piece of equipment is done. Thanks for the memories, China. Here's some B-roll, and as always, thanks for watching.